It's a extreme honor to be here. I'm humbled. I'm sitting here and at a table with gentlemen that teach and ladies that teach marketing and sales, and here I am with only 16 years experience, coming in to give you some new ideas. You know, when Bill came to me and said, I want you to go speak to this group, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be a lot of young people. I'm going to be the oldest one in the room, and I'm going to have all this great information. They're going to go, man, that guy knows his stuff. And so I'm a little humbled. P30X, where did that come from? Anybody heard of P90X? Oh, yeah. All right, P90X is the most ridiculous thing. If you haven't bought it, don't buy it, because you'll hate yourself when you get it. 6 years ago, I weighed 45 more pounds than I do right now. Okay, I was on heavy doses of methotrexate for arthritis. My hardest task every morning was tying my shoes. I've got 3 kids. My oldest is 18. He's a freshman in college. I know I don't look that old, but look, yes. And I was sitting with my wife, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to have to go get these injections all the time. So I said, what are we going to do about it? You know, it's not my problem, it's our problem. She said, well, you need to lose weight. And I said, well, okay. So I did, you know, hydroxycut. Anybody heard of that? Yeah, I saw that marketing thing and bought that stuff. I felt real good, didn't sleep for 3 weeks, but felt great. Felt great. I went through that. I did the Atkins diet. I mean, I was on 4 different diets because, you know, as they say, you can't get enough food on one diet, so you got to do all. So I did all those things. Then finally, my wife works for a doctor, and he said, you know, Jason, you're going to have to exercise. And I went, what? I'm a sports radio nut. Okay, I live in Hot Springs. Take my kids to school in the mornings. I drive in. My morning consists of the Mike and Mike show on ESPN radio. Then I flip over to get some Dan Patrick on the way in. Well, ESPN for the last 2 years has talked about this P90X, and all their anchors are doing it and talking about how it's the greatest thing. Okay, I bought into it. So I bought this program. I take it home. I'm so excited. It's a Monday night. It was a Monday after Christmas last year. I was so excited. I was worn out, but I was excited. So I get home and I put the DVD in. I'm expecting just, you know, what I'm expecting is I can sit there and watch it and everything's going to melt away. That's what I was expecting, okay? I put it in and I was so disappointed because here's this guy, Tony Horton, who's just like, I mean, he's buff. I mean, he's been doing this, I guess, for 30 years. He keeps reinventing himself. Genius. The first tape is chest and back. So I'm thinking, great, I'm going to watch these exercises. I'm going to be ripped. I'm so excited. And the first thing to do is push-ups. And I went, push-ups? What? Do as many as you can in a minute. So 2, and I was good. I was like, because the slogan is do your best and forget the rest. So I was like, perfect. I forgot all of those other ones I wasn't going to do. And I mean, I did the first, it's 45 minutes. I did the first solid 12 minutes. I gave it everything I had, and then after that, I was done. I went to my wife and said, I can't do this. She goes, well, what did you expect it to be? I said, well, I expected it to be something that was easy to do, that I wouldn't have to be fully, you know, engaged in, and then I would see the results. Well, I got over myself because I realized it wasn't a magic pill. It wasn't a magic DVD I could watch, and I have done the program now my 4th time through. Okay, I'm starting my new 90 days, started last Monday. And I've taken off 45 pounds, and it's because I have Tony Horton kicking my rear end every night when I get home. I get Sissy at work and Tony Horton at home. It's perfect. But it required hard work. So when the program started, he asked, there's a questionnaire you fill out. And the first question is, do you want to build mass or do you want to get ripped? Well, obviously I chose the mass. No, I didn't. But he has it geared in a way to where, okay, you pick your plan and you follow your plan, you got it for yourself, okay? So in sales, you know, there's all kinds of different programs, all kinds of different ways to sell. I sell differently than Bill sells. Bill sells differently than Sissy sells. By the way, they are the 2 best salespeople I've ever seen. I've been in 6 different stores around the state of Arkansas. Nobody holds a candle to me. If you haven't seen Sissy in action, come by the store sometime and just hang out and watch her sell. You will sit there and go, wow. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. There's 3 different types of personalities in selling, okay? You've got your serpentine, okay? I kind of like to call it the serpent, okay? 70% of us fall into this role, because what we do, it's kind of that wandering profile. It's a type B personality. It's that type of person that they come in, and I'm sorry, I don't have any all my analogies will be related to jewelry. I'm sorry. I'm glad Mark Miller's not here. I was going to have to talk about some kind of car, and I know nothing about cars, so anyway, it's good. But this is the type of salesperson that when they come into the store, my sales staff will, they'll talk about a ring, and then they'll talk about the news, and then they'll talk about the ring, and they'll talk about their vacation, and then they'll talk about the ring and talk about their pets, and before you know it, you got to the end of it, and you become their best friend, and they bought a piece of jewelry from them. Their definition of closing a sale is they are helping their customer make that decision, okay? That's not me. 20% are missiles. I am a missile. Okay, I want to get in there, get in, get out as quick as I can. The sales staff calls me the Terminator because if I'm involved in the sales presentation for longer than 7 minutes, I'm going to start tearing things up. Okay, we're just wired that way. 20% of us fit that profile. We like to get in there, get right down to business. We don't want to do the chit-chat thing. We'll do the chit-chat thing after the sale's closed, but while we're in the middle of the sale, we're all about the sale. That's 20% of us. Our definition of closing a sale is the timing and how you say it. And we've got that 30-second window that we know that's our spot right there. We get in, we get out, done, boom, go do something else, okay? Then there's 10% of us that are the sneak, okay? And the sneak can be the serpentine, serpent, it's not a bad thing. They can be the serpentine, or they can be the missile. And that's the ability that Bill and Sissy both have. They can walk into any cell. If they need to be in there quick and get out, they can. If they need there and stay and talk and talk and talk and listen, then they'll do that as well. And that personality, they want to do the presentation that fits best. Okay, so before you can go into any kind of sales, you got to know, all right, who am I? Because if you're a serpentine, you can't go and try to act like a missile. Okay, you're going to fail miserably. And if you're a missile, you're going to rip your hair out trying to be a serpentine and have all these conversations. So it's important to know before you go into a sales presentation, okay, which model do I fit? All right. There are 7 steps to making a sale. All right. And I guarantee you've never heard this is it acronym where you have the letters that stand for stuff? Is that what it is? Crap car. All right. That's the 7 steps of the sale. Crap car. All right. The C, and I hope I don't. Everybody wants to get back to work. This isn't going to take forever. All right. The C, you got to create interest. Okay? A lot of the times the interest is created by marketing. Obviously, Sissy's Log Cabin believes in spending a couple of dollars in advertising. Okay? But for us, especially in Little Rock, the hardest thing for us is everybody's had this 40 years of going to Pine Bluff. Okay? 40 years of Bill and Sissy always being in the store. They come in Little Rock, okay? And there's been some culture shock for some folks because they walk in, I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm JR. Where's Bill? Where's Sissy? Oh, we're there in Pine Bluff today. And then a minute go, oh. We've had to take what was done in Pine Bluff and transfer it to Little Rock. But the interest is created a lot by the marketing, okay? But the marketing is what gets them to the door. It's what the salesperson does after that gets the sale. So how do you create interest? For us, it's easy. I've got 3 great, over-the-top, tremendous salespeople that can romance this microphone stand and get excited about it, and 5 minutes later you want to get it, okay? You've got to have your energy level match the energy level of the client, and you've got to have those catchphrases like, guess what just came in? My favorite one, and if you come to the store and I say this to you, don't be offended, don't hold it against me, but guess what's in the vault? Because we always keep something nice and juicy in the vault, right? We're lucky we can do that, Guess what's in the vault? And we take people in the vault and show them. Yeah, it's genius, right? Okay. All right, so number 1, create interest. Number 2, romance. You got to romance that product. I don't know how you romance a copier, but I'm sure y'all know how to romance a copier. I'm sure there's a way to do it, For us, it's great. When the guy comes in, he's looking at those diamond earrings. All we have to do is say, imagine the look in her eyes when she opens up that box. Done. How you want to pay for that? Romance a product. You have to want it as much as you want them to want it, and you have to make them want to say yes before you even ask the question yes. Because all sales is our professional ability to get our client to say yes. That's all we're trying to do is those 3 little words. Yes, it's not rocket science. So how do you create romance? Well, 70 to 80% of their presentation has to be in what I call worth selling. You're building the value, okay? We all know at the end of the day with jewelry, what it comes down to is not how much it cost, but how much they want it. Okay, my ring can be $10,000, okay? It's a wedding band. Every guy that's married should have one. If you're like me, you have number 6, same lady, 6 bands. I play golf, put them in golf carts, they ride away. All right, so this is number 6. It wouldn't matter to me if this costs $200 or $1,000. I know that I need it because my wife wants to see it on this finger. Okay, it doesn't matter how much it is. So you have to build the worth. When you build the worth, the perceived value goes up. When the perceived value goes up, the objections go down, and all the salespeople say, yes, that's what we're looking for, right? So the number 2 thing is romance. All right, number 3 in building our crap car analogy. Isn't that great? You're going to remember that forever. I know. I call it appraise to make it fit the A. And this is basically the technical information, okay? I am a gemologist, and it was 4 years of studying. Should have been 4 years of studying. It was 6 years of studying. 6 years is what it was. And as soon as I became a gemologist, the store owner where I was working at the time said, all right, now that you've learned all that, forget everything you learned. Okay? Because nobody cares that the refractive index of a sapphire is 1.76. You don't care. It's pretty, isn't it? You know, that's all you need to know. But there's those situations where you have to get technical. You know, in our industry, when the engineer comes in and he has his GIA reports printed off and he says, I want my crown angle to be 34.5, and I want my pavilion depth percentage to be 63, and I want my table percentage to be 60%. That's when the staff goes, JR, you have to have the ability to have the knowledge, but the wisdom not to know when to use the knowledge. Okay, so appraise is the A. All right, P, the price. The price. And I have an interesting sales staff. I have people that have been with Sissy's for 17 years, 16 years, and then there's people that have been with Sissy's for less than a year. And it's interesting because the old-timers, as I lovingly refer to them, they challenge me on this point because they say it's all about the price, okay? And I guess to some extent it is. If you walk into a store and say I walked into Frank Fletcher Dodge, okay, and I need a new car, I don't have the capabilities to spend $35,000, $40,000 on a car today, but I might have the capability to spend 10 to 15. So price does play a factor, but that value is built up, and you show me how I can't afford it. Oh, I'm there. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Price is probably for us the biggest thing to overcome, because a lot of times what salespeople do is we limit what our customers can do based on what we can do. I'll never forget it. First store I worked in was in January, Arkansas. And this was my second day on the job there. And it was myself and 21 ladies. Okay, so I learned a lot of valuable information in that 4 years I worked in that store. Second day there, this guy walked in, and he was in Jonesboro. I grew up in Paragould. The guy, I knew him, didn't know him that well. Overalls, muddy boots, grease everywhere. I had 2 ladies, one Miss Shirley, who was 74 years old, and Miss Ida, who was 197. I promise you she was. One stood on one side, one stood on the other side, and their way they decided who got the sale or got to wait on that client was whoever said hello to them first. So we were in a mall store, so if somebody was walking by and you step across that threshold, hey, how are you doing? That was whoever said hi first got on. Well, this guy walks in looking like a Northeast Arkansas farmer, is what he looked like. Neither one of them said hello to him. So here I come out, 21 years old, ready to go get after it. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm good. I can give some gifts. I said, all right, well, who are we shopping for? Well, I'm shopping for my wife. So he said, I want to get her. We got a 50th anniversary. I go, 50 years? Wow, that's amazing. I've been married 6 months. How do you do it? He goes, son, let me give you some advice. I said, okay, I get way off subject. I'm so sorry. He said, let me give you 2 words of advice. 2 words that will help you to be married 50 years. I said, okay, I was ready for these words of wisdom. What are they going to be? Yes, dear. All right. It's worked 16 years. 6 bands, 16 years, but it's worked. I need to get a 50th anniversary gift for my wife. And I said, what'd you have in mind? He goes, I want to get her a diamond. Well, in that store, the biggest diamond that we had, and I was young and dumb, but I knew, show the biggest diamond you have. The biggest diamond we have was a 4-carat diamond. Okay? 4-carat diamond back in 1994 was $42,500. I get out of the case, and this is a 4-carat diamond. How much is it? $42,500. He goes, I'll take that. The greatest salesperson in the world is right here in front of you. But then I did probably the smartest thing I've ever done, except for when I called Bill and Sissy about getting a job with them. That was the smartest thing. This was probably the second smartest thing. I said, well, who else do you need to shop for? Oh, brilliant. Well, my daughter probably needs something. I said, what'd you have in mind for her? He goes, well, if her mom was getting a 4-carat, I probably should get her at least a 2-carat. Okay? 2-carat diamond, $22,000. I'll take that. Well, I already had the magical question answered, right? Well, who else is on your list? I was real good at an early age. Well, my son-in-law probably needs something. And I said, well, what do you want to get him? He goes, I don't know, what's cheap? He got him a Seiko watch. I mean, so here's this guy, and the greatest thing was how he paid. In that coverall he had on, wads of cash. He said, can I go back to the back office with you, young man? And I said, I think so. I didn't know, you know. We walked back there, and he pulls out these wads of cash and lays it out. $75,000. And at that point in time, you didn't have to fill out that form 1090, whatever it is that you fill out now. Patriot Act, we didn't have to worry about that back then. We liked the cash back then. And it was old, fresh money, too. It was nice. And so he left, and I mean, for the next month, Miss Shirley and Miss Ida didn't talk to me. I mean, they were just like, but any guy that came in looking like he couldn't afford anything, they were all on him, you know. All right, so price. Price doesn't matter as much to the clients as we think it does, okay? Average price of a copy machine is what? $10,000. To me, that's a lot of money. But once you come to me and say, well, JR, anytime you need to fax a document, or anytime you need to scan a document, anytime you need to make a copy, the thing's going to work, I'll pay $10,000 for that. Absolutely, I will. You build the value to get to the price, okay? The biggest thing I teach our staff is, you would think it's already there, don't offer to negotiate. You know, I've worked at stores in the past where it's like, well, you know, this is $10,000, but I can see if I can get you a better deal. Well, that tells you right up front that, well, wait a minute, you don't think it's worth it, so why would the client think it's worth it, so why would they pay it? You know, so don't offer to negotiate. So there's the P. That's a quick synopsis of the P. So we've already got the crap, right? So now we got to build the car, all right? So the C for the car, close it, which can be the hardest or the easiest thing that you've ever done. If the value has been built, and if you have got the right product match with the right customer, then the closing is the easiest thing in the world. You know, sample closes for us. Would you like a blue box of white ribbon, or would you like a blue box of white ribbon? That's what we have. Okay, well, you know, how would you like to pay for it? All those kinds of things. 4 definitions of a close. Help the client to make a decision, which is the serpentine style, right? Timing and how you say it, which is what the missile's going to do. He's going to wait for just the right time to say just the right. Let me write that up for you, okay? A close has to be designed and engineered to fit the client's personality, and this is where the sneak kind of comes into it, because they can match their close with who they're working with. And then the other part of it is what you say to get the client to say, I'll take it, because that's all we're looking to do. The 7 types of closes are the direct close, which is, you want it? I mean, you know. The compliment close, and this is where the serpentine salesperson is great at it. Man, that's going to look great on your wife. She's going to look fabulous. She's going to love you forever. This is going to get you another great 20 minutes, you know. I mean, the whisper close, which is a good close for a sneak to use, it's where you lean in. And I cannot do this. I cannot do the whisper thing, walking, you know you want it, don't you? I can't do that. I've seen people do it, and I'm like, I wish I could do that, but I couldn't pull it off. There's no way. The indirect close, where you close the sale and the client doesn't know you've closed it. You know you want it, don't you? Well, yeah, I want it. Well, okay. And then before you know it, you're writing the sales ticket. Yeah, those are fun. The reassurance close, you know, she'll never forget the day you gave this to her. That's gold right there. I love it. The question close, not can I or may I wrap this up for you, but what color box would you like to have this in? We have blue. When do you plan on giving it to her? What size does she wear? If I get a guy to tell me she wears a size 6.5, before you know it, the ring size and in a box and out the door. I mean, that's just how it works for us. And then the assumption close is where you're going to enjoy this. This will be yours for a long time. You can pass this down to the next generation. All right, real quick, 7 different types of closes. Okay, now the A is the add-on. And that was the first thing I ever learned in the jewelry industry was you don't stop selling until they say stop selling. I mean, we're coming off the best time a year to be a salesperson in jewelry. It's December because every guy has to buy a gift, and we all know what the occasion is. It's Christmas. Everybody has a deadline. It's the 25th. That's why we're open on the 24th. Okay, on the 24th, it's great because it's ducks in a barrel. I mean, if you've got a pulse, you can make a sale in a jewelry store on the 24th of December because you know the guy needs it. You know when he needs it. You know when he's got to give it to her. The hardest thing for us in jewelry is January 5th because that's when all the salespeople have left the store on December 24th thinking, I'm the greatest in the world. I can sell anything. And then you come back in on January 5th and go, oh, wait a minute, I got to work for it now? But the add-on, a lot of money is left on the table by not offering add-ons. In our business, I figure my goal is based on a 10% increase. If I can get my staff to ask for add-ons every time, I'll get that 10% increase. Okay. The questions are, what else do you need to go with this? Who else are you shopping for? Add-ons are gold. Camera business. I mean, you got to have a case for that, right? And you got to have film for that camera. I would hope y'all are offering film to go with it. And you got to have a class to know how to use it because if you're like me, you can't read there's all those advantages, all those opportunities to add on. Don't stop until the client says, okay, I'm done. And I've seen that happen with Sissy. I think the record at Sissy's Log Cabin for the most items is 42. And that's not slides. I mean, back in the slide era, I was talking to the gentleman earlier about slides. Back in the slide era, you could have 147 because they're all the little spacers, but 42. It took the sales lady 7 tickets. I mean, I don't mind getting writer's cramp for 7 tickets. 42 items because it kept going from, my granddaughter, my niece, and it just keeps going. Add-ons can make a huge difference. And the great thing about the add-on sale, you may spend 20 minutes to sell that first item. Add-on sale takes maybe 30 seconds. I mean, because it's so quick because you've already sold yourself and the company. So it's nice and easy. And then the final R is referrals. And that's where a lot of, and I know I'm young, but I'm not that young. If you come to our stores, you'll see. That's where a lot of our new young sales professionals don't get it. They don't get that. Well, tell your friends to come see me. When I was brought up, 16 years ago, you passed business cards out like they were candy. People have forgotten that. A lot of people don't carry business cards with them. My rule, my staff on business cards is I want you to pass out 500 and then come back to me, we'll order you 500 more. When you go to a restaurant, get good service, give them your business card. When you meet somebody in public, give them your business card. A lot of us, I'm not a techie. I mean, I have a phone and I know how to use some of the buttons on here, not all of them on there. But a business card's a powerful tool. If you ever need anything, here's my card. Referrals. It's all about referrals. All right. So there's your crap card now, as you never forget it. So create interest, romance the product, appraise the situation or build the value, romance the product, close the sale, add on the sale, and referral. And that's all I have for y'all today. Thank you.